guys, it's Heather here, and today I am very excited to show you guys how to make your own transparent stickers for your scrapbook and planner. This is the second video for my scrapbook embellishment series, and there will be many more to come, and I'm really excited to show you guys how to do this. So here is my test, and it's kind of curled up because it's printed on contact paper. I'm gonna bring you guys down a bit so you can see. I made my own alpha stickers, and I left the lines in there as a guide, but when you take it off, if I could, I wonder if I scored these correctly. Yes, I did. They are completely transparent, except for the letter on there. You can put that back. So for this tutorial, you will need contact paper and an X-OXO knife, and scissors. But if you don't have a printer, you also need a printer for the first step of this tutorial. If you don't have one, I'm going to show you guys how you can make some using just markers and your artistic skills. The ones I found that worked pretty well, since I cut off a strip to test the markers, are Sharpie, of course, and these SRX metallic color sharps, and these actually look fantastic on the contact paper. I got these at Walmart like I think 6 years ago. I don't know if they're still there, but I remember they're around $5 for 5 markers. So I'm going to move you guys to my desktop so you can see the process of how to make this, and I'll see you guys there.
Hey guys, sorry this video is so late. I filmed the actual introduction to this video last week, and I had some trouble with my desktop recording system thing, so I had to get some help on that. And I actually recorded this with my camera substitute, but the quality was so bad. And as I was actually using the product I was making, I found some trial and errors, so I decided to refilm this with a better way of getting a better end product, and so that you can see things better on my screen. So starting off, what you see on my screen is 2 Word documents. There's more, but it's actually minimized. But on the right side is a blank document, and that's where I will be demonstrating how to create the Word or document that will be printed onto the contact paper. On the left hand side is some alphas, since I thought it would be really cool to have some translucent alphas for Project Life, and since people who do Project Life use a lot of alphas. This was actually created using a tutorial from Scraphinology. I will actually link that in the description box below. And the tutorial I have today is kind of like that, but less extensive, since we're not going to need like 26 columns, so rows across. So yeah, so that's one example of what you can do. And the second example, and the reason why you can't see the grid lines, all of them for this one, while the alpha one you can see all the grid lines, is that this is actually for an upcoming video. I'm just showing that you guys that you can use like little words instead to use on your stickers. So here's some that I ended up using. I'm just going to scroll up and down so you can see it. And here was the one that I actually recorded a long time ago, but it ended up not working. And at the bottom there's some emojis. So you can actually use this technique on not just words, but also images. I prefer to use black and white images because it's the only inkjet printer I have, is the black and white one. The color one is a laser printer, and laser ink does not stick very well to the contact paper. But as I was using this, I realized that neither does inkjet. So even though it does set and dry on top of the contact paper, it still scrapes off and just creates this huge mess. So I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of that, even though it's going to have to add some extra steps. It can become quite tedious if you skip it in the future. So here's just an example. So what we're going to make today, or my little mock thing, is going to be similar to what you see on the right side, on the left hand side. So to get started, I like to change my margin to 0.5 on top and bottom, and on the left and right side 1 inch. The reason why I do this is because it's just gives us more on one page of contact paper rather than taking away from it, and I could fit more things on it. Then you need to create a table, and what I found ideal was going 6 rows instead of 26, and then you can start typing in your words that you can do. So for this video, I'm doing some planner words. So it will be like cleaning day. Make sure you center everything. I always forget that step. So cleaning day, meeting, volunteer, test. Well, sorry I'm messing up so much. I'm not really paying attention like I should be. Work out. Let's see, what else do I have I should do? Just use what's on the other page so that I don't take too long figuring things out. And text, that's pretty important. So what I like to do is to change these words into different text just so it'll be a lot more interesting and not too plain. So let's say Old English Pet. And I'll change the font so that would be a lot bigger. Can't see that very well. It just looks ugly. But you get what I mean. You can just change the text of these to fit what you like. Then change these each to something different. Just so it'll be more interesting. And you don't have to do this. This is just what I prefer doing, because if you bold something, it most likely would catch your eye, or just so that not everything's all uniform and it just looks boring in my opinion. Some people like things uniform, but it doesn't have to be. So here's your row of 6. You can always try adding a 7th one, but I like having 6 because it gives you room to cut. Then you would need to highlight the whole entire thing, copy it, and just paste it however many times you would like. So if I wanted 5 of these, then I can always go back and insert another table and create another set of like words. Photo op, Insta, profession. So here's another line, and you just do the exact same thing, just copy and paste it however many times you would like. And you just do this until you finish your whole entire document. So it's a pretty simple process. Another thing you can do is always like Google images. What I did to get these images is I typed in emoji stamps, and then I just found the faces that I liked or I would use often and just copied and pasted it onto my Word document. However, I do have to resize it, but that's not a really big deal. So I actually forgot to tell you guys the tips that I found that created better transparent stickers. So I'm going to go on to that section before I move on to the marker section. So some things that I did that I wish I did not do was that I left the lines on my graph or my table. So in order to get rid of them, just in the paragraph section there is this box, just click on the one that says no borders and it will take away all the borders. The reason why I left the borders is because I thought it would aid in my cutting, but as I started cutting the lines, it would start chipping and that black dust just got all over my letters, and it was just so irritating and very unprofessional looking, because then they got trapped underneath, and when you put on your photos, it's no longer transparent because there's like black dust all over your stickers. So another tip I have is to seal the ink onto your contact paper. So this kind of defeats the purpose of printing on contact paper rather than sticker paper, but contact paper is a lot more translucent and is a lot more affordable. Like a couple of ways I found was helpful was if you put another layer of contact paper on top to seal in this image. I didn't do this because I already printed the black lines, and if I put the contact paper on top of it, then the black lines would stay. As you saw in the beginning of this video, I had to trim some of my alpha stickers just to get rid of the little black lines on the sides. So this is actually a testing process. What I ended up doing, because I cut all my letters out before I actually sealed any of them, because I didn't have any trouble with the sealing, or I didn't realize that they were chipping off until after I finished cutting the whole sheet, was use Mod Podge or nail polish and just clean over the section that is printed onto the contact paper. And that is just a very useful way, because I already cut out the pieces and I just did a dot over each alpha with either Mod Podge or nail polish. I found that Mod Podge has a better finish and it's a lot quicker than using nail polish. But if you guys do not cut it yet, you can just cover the whole entire sheet with Mod Podge and then trim it. And that's a whole quicker process, especially if you guys got rid of the graph line. So it'll be a lot cleaner. You wouldn't see all those lines, and I do not think you need the line to cut it, because they're clear. If it's uneven, it's not going to really matter. So those are my tips for better looking transparent stickers. If I have any in the future, I'll probably put them in the description box below. This is just something I came up in the spur of the moment, and I still want to share because it's a very cool thing to experiment with. And we always use stickers in Project Life and in our planners, so that was really cool.
Here I'm actually showing you how to set up your contact paper so that you can feed it through your printer. So I'm just unrolling the coil, and as you can see, I'm almost out of contact paper, and just cutting a little slit at the side. I found it a lot easier to slit the corners and then cutting it rather than actually cutting the contact paper on top of the paper, because I ended up trimming the printer paper instead. Afterwards, you need to uncoil the contact paper, because it usually coils back up, and tape it to the printer paper. So I made sure to make it super secure by doing all the corners and adding a little bit onto each side, because my printer does not feed paper in that's coiled up, so I always have to make sure that it does not separate from the printer paper when it is going through the printer. And then I simply left it in a huge contraption of binders of my old schoolwork for 2 courses inside, just so that it would flatten out, because yet again, I tried feeding it through my printer and it still didn't feed through. So you can skip this step if your printer accepts the paper, because I know some printers, it doesn't care if the paper is a little coiled up, but mine has to be like extremely flat before it can go through the printer. Now on to the drawing section of the video. I just have a couple of inspirational pictures that I doodled during one of my classes, because I'm taking summer semester, and it's just a little example of just what I came up with. You can always do something else, but I really like using like quotes and emojis, bunnies, and bows because I absolutely love those type of things. This next part is pretty simple. You just need some markers that I showed at the beginning of the video, or any type of permanent marker. And I drew out an example off screen because I can see the paper better. It says head in the clouds, and it's a blue metallic marker. And for it to cut out the sticker, you just need scissors, since it's gonna be pretty difficult to use an X-Acto knife to score it. And oops, I'm just gonna do a time lapse of me just drawing a couple of designs in.